What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. It is Monday night, so it is the day of the week that we discuss anything and everything Corvette. So tonight, it's just yours truly. No one else is here. And when I say no one, I mean no one. So no Joe tonight, no David tonight, not even Amber. Well, she might join us later. But for now, it's just going to be me. We're going to be talking about Corvettes though, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Now, right off the bat, we got a question that I'm going to answer as soon as we talk about the sponsor of today's video, which of course is going to be National Corvette Museum Insurance, or NCM Insurance. They don't want to necessarily go by National Corvette Museum Insurance, I guess. NCM Insurance, because people kind of get it confused that maybe Corvette insurance is all they offer. That is in fact not the case. So again, guys, the link for this will be in the description down below. If you're watching this and you haven't heard me talk about this 100 times already, check it out. The worst that you can do is waste a couple minutes of your time, but odds are really good you're going to walk away from this saving some money off your current insurance. So check out the link down below. It's going to take you to this website here where you would just hit get a quote in red there. Go through, fill out the information. And on the step where it says, where did you hear about us? Just type in HPO26, and that's going to let them know exactly where you came from and make sure that, their relationship with horsepower obsessed and back and forth keeps working as well as it has been. So if you could put that in there when you're checking this out, it helps out the channel. It will help me out, and odds are good it's going to help you out too, because you're going to get an insurance quote that will probably beat your current insurance. And this is really something for those guys who want to drive their special cars, typically your Corvettes or your Lamborghinis, your Ferraris, whatever it may be. And it's something you drive on not a super regular basis. Maybe you're just driving it on the weekends to car shows, things like that. If that's the case, this is the insurance for you, because you can actually set your own kind of payout price too. So if something were to ever happen to that car, you actually would then get a value that you agreed upon when insuring it versus what the blue book shows your car's worth. So we've seen, obviously, if you have a car that's worth roughly 100 grand on blue book, but you, after your mods, you think it's worth more like 130. If you come to an agreement with the NCM insurance with that, if something ever were to happen in that car, you're going to get 130, not the 100 that the blue book says you're worth. So really a cool insurance to check out. Like I said, all the guys over there are always big car guys, and they'll be at Corvettes at Carlisle. They're at a lot of the bigger Corvette or car show events, so always a great time with them as well. Like I said, super car guys. So check out the link down below, guys. Save yourself some money on your car insurance. But anyway, guys, we are here to talk about Corvettes, of course. Even though NCM Insurance does insure other cars other than Corvettes, we are talking about Corvettes today. And if I got to see you yesterday, we just got back from the Criswell car meet that Joe and I put on, and it went really well. There was a ton of Corvettes. There was a bunch of other cars too. So I know we got to see a Lamborghini Huracan Performante. That's you, Pat. We even got a couple motorcycles. D'Anthony showed up with his Hayabusa. What else? We had a couple CTSV cars. We had a new and an older Toyota Supra. And when I say older, I mean like the Fast and Furious days, older Supras that were just able to be built to the freaking moon. It was really cool to see some of these cars. So I will actually have a video out either tomorrow or Wednesday showing the entire show. So stay tuned for that. It was a really good time. If you guys made it out, I appreciate you showing the support. If you didn't, we're going to have another one later this fall, most likely. So stay tuned for that. The question I wanted to address real quickly here is from Mike Dixon. He asks, is PTM included on the base Grand Sport? AI says no, that you must get a Z52. Now, there's a couple different levels to this question, but the first one that I wanted to address really quickly is I just did a real quick search on the build tool that we're going to talk about here in a second, and it does show that the Grand Sport touring suspension with magnetic ride control is in fact standard. So if you're looking for the mag ride, it is standard. Now, I can understand why this would be a question, because it's not standard on a Stingray. You have to select it, but it is standard on the Z06 and on the E-Ray, and obviously now on the Grand Sport as well, it will be standard. So you're not going to have to select that separately. Now, If you're asking specifically for the PTM modes, performance traction management, which is somewhat separate from the magnetic ride control, from what I understand, even though it is kind of a different piece, it is somewhat pieced together. So from what I can tell, PTM does come with the magnetic ride control, but one thing I'm not able to verify is if the new PTM mode comes with that. I would have to assume yes. So PTM Pro, the new PTM Pro mode, I don't know for sure that comes with the Grand Sport Standard, but if I had to guess, the answer is yes. So he just asked this question right off the bat here, and I wanted to try to get an answer because that was a good question. I hadn't heard that one pop up yet. I think if I had to guess, the answer is yes, but I'll have probably a better answer for you maybe next Monday night. So stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you bringing up the questions. Obviously, that's what we're here to help do, is between me and all the guys in the chat here. We typically can come up with some sort of answer, but if we can't, I'll make sure to get you one. So yeah, guys, really, really an awesome show yesterday. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Dan and Maria came down from Canada. And then if RPM, Aaron, if he's in here, he actually drove further than the couple from Canada, which doesn't even make sense, like, in my head, but apparently it is a thing. So I think Aaron drove either 8 or 10 hours, which was wild. So Aaron, really appreciate that. I'm not sure if you're in here yet or not, but if you are, I really appreciate you guys all coming out. Let's see. Joey Cutts was there, of course, with his somewhat of a twin to my car. It was a Seawolf Gray. He got to park right beside me, and I was parked right beside Joe. So we had 3 Seawolf Gray cars lined right up against each other. And wait until you see the video that I have coming out, guys, because I counted at one point 6 Seawolf Gray Z06s. So it's like they didn't even make that many Seawolf Gray cars, period, let alone Seawolf Gray Z06s. And we had most of them there in this parking lot. So it's pretty cool. So let's see. Yeah, so Professor Corvette says the build tool, Grand Sport without prices. Nice, Chevrolet. This is the kind of stuff you can count on, because I think it was on Friday, or it was either Thursday or Friday, and it was pretty late in the day that I saw that the tool was out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it said, well, actually, it's only partially out because there's no prices. And it's like, why would you even put the tool out if there's no prices? Like, what's the point? Because, and I mean, there's a ton of errors in this tool as well. We're going to go over all of them in a second here, but like right off the bat, all of the engine bay, the engine covers, the colors that they're showing, the red and the black and everything, the colors that you can actually select for the engine cover are all still showing the 6.2 liter engine cover instead of the new 6.7. And it's like little things like that. And then on the build plaque that they put in the engine bay, it says E-Ray on it. And it's like, why, if you don't have this thing ready to go, don't put it up. Just wait. I mean, I would much rather have seen them wait on this and bring out a fully fledged setup than to like come to market half baked. It's weird. Nice. It says, hey man, I picked up my Z06 2 days ago. Your 2-year review video was incredibly helpful. I appreciate that. I try to make the review videos as unbiased as possible and more an approach to the car as if you just saw it for the first time. But I'm also able to give my opinion based on the amount of time that I've spent with the car. So I've had a Z06 since basically 2023. So I've spent a lot of time with this car. And, you know, I'm going to make a review of my current Seawolf Gray car here in a couple of days as well, because it's been a year since I've owned that car now too. And it's just like, it seems like they get better and better with time. It's incredible. It's a really, really good car. It really is. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, you know, Ron, I heard this too, that the claim for no pricing on the builder tool yet was because of EPA, like they were finalizing the miles per gallon. But I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not. I heard that, but then at the same time, we also kind of got the numbers recently. They were put up on the Corvette forum, so I don't know. It doesn't really sit right with me, but we'll see. The building tool is pure trash, says Ricky. Nice. I know a lot of you guys have been excited to see that pop up, and yeah, unfortunately, they came to market with the build tool in a very constraint kind of way, if you know what I mean. Z06 Hot Rod Todd says, if I was ordering a new Grand Sport, I guess I'd consider it better than nothing. Get to see how the colors might look. Yeah, and that's another thing, is the colors, odds are very good. The colors are going to look nothing like they look on this builder. If I went based on the builder on Seawolf Gray especially, I would have never bought that color because the build tool made Seawolf Gray look absolutely horrific. So, I don't know. Yeah, they usually do leave something out, but yeah. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen it, the over at the Mid-Gen Corvette forum, they posted the 2027 Grand Sport build and buy partially here. And then they put up the link. And of course, the link takes you over to the Chevrolet's website here where we were just at a second ago. And this is what you're greeted with. So you can, in fact, build a 2027 Grand Sport. And it's interesting. So let's go through this for a minute. So obviously you get to see the Grand Sport here. You get to see the colors of the new wheels, which I'll be honest, I'm a fan of those wheels. Those wheels look nice. So right off the bat, if I was building a Grand Sport, which, you know, just to be clear, I'm not, but we'd go with a 3LT and then go to the next thing. Now that's Admiral Blue, and that actually that's a pretty close representation to what that color looks like in real life. So it's interesting that some of these colors are pretty spot on and other ones are not even close. So Admiral Blue looks pretty good. Torch Red, if they could find a way to mess that up, I'm sure they would, but that looks right. Of course, Arctic White looks right. Of course, Black looks right. Let's see, Pitch Gray Metallic. Okay. I mean, I guess the metallic is hard to show, but the difference between Black and Pitch Gray Metallic, it literally just looks like the shine is moving slightly differently. I mean, Pitch Gray Metallic is pretty dark, but that's not really what it looks like. It has a lot of a metallic flake to it, so there's a really cool shine to it. That just looks like a slightly different shade of black. So, not great. Blade Silver, that's pretty accurate. Roswell Green's pretty accurate. Admiral Blue, like I said, looks pretty good. And Competition Yellow looks about right. Sebring Orange, that looks closer to Amplify to me. I think it's really a problem with metallic. And then of course Red Mist. That's pretty close. So these aren't too bad. There's some of these colors, they're really off. Other colors, not too bad. Yeah, Pitch Gray looks nothing like what it really looks like. So before we continue with the build tool here, guys, I do want to mention the sponsor of tonight's video, of course, is NCM Insurance. We already talked about them. But the giveaway for tonight, and we're going to be giving away a set of Scrape Armor Radiator Grill Guards for any C8 Corvette you may own. So they make them for the Stingray, they make them for the Z06, they make them for the E-Ray, they make them for the ZR1 and ZR1X now as well. And I'm pretty sure they already have the set for the Grand Sport. So any one of those, if you win tonight, you will be able to choose what set of Scrape Armor Grill Guards you want. Now, Scrape Armor is, of course, really, really great people. I've worked with them quite a bit. They're going to give away a set of these every Monday night for the next 3 weeks. So tonight, next Monday night, and the following Monday night, that will finish up our June month. So if you would like to get a set of Scrape Armor Grill Guards, these things are typically pretty expensive for what you're getting here. If you guys haven't checked out their website, they're relatively expensive, but they are also built extremely well, where you can install these things and count on them to protect your car. $650 for the side grill guards, which are only available for the Z06 and E-Ray, but the front grill guards are available for Z06, E-Ray, Stingray, ZR1, and ZR1X now. Even though they don't show them on here, I know that they have corrected the issue with those, so they will fit the ZR1 and ZR1X. If you guys want to win these, it's the same story as always. $10 is an entry, $50 or more is double entries, and you could win a set of grill guards worth up to $700. And they will ship directly from Scrape Armor in brand new packaging. So regardless of what C8 Corvette you have, you can win the grill guards tonight. So $10 is an entry, $50 or more, double entries. We'll give away a set tonight as well as the next 2 weeks. So any of you guys out there who haven't gotten these yet, you definitely should. Trust me, I've seen these cars without them. You do not want to be stuck without any kind of grill guards. Enter tonight. As of right now, we have no entries. I know I just mentioned that, but I'm just saying nobody's entered yet tonight. And yeah, like KP said, guys, if you could please smash the thumbs up button. We got 120 people in here watching and only 40 thumbs ups. Let's get those thumbs ups rolling because we want to hit 100 within the next 11 minutes. That would be really great if we could do that. So thumbs up. Get your entries in for the Scrape Armor Grill Guards. And win yourself a set of grill guards for significantly less. Jay Browton, are the Scrape Armor stock on 01? No. So Scrape Armor does not come stock on any of the C8 Corvettes. If you want to order them, you can order them with the build of your car, and then the dealer will install them before you pick up your car. But they are not, unfortunately, stock on any car or pre-installed. You will pay for them one way or another. Now, if you win them tonight, you could pay a lot less. Yes, Dan, the stock or the side intake grill guards would also be up for grabs. So if you would like to grab a set of those are only available for the Z06 and the E-Ray though. So make sure, whatever, if you win, you get to tell me what it is you want. Just don't say that you have a ZR1 and you want side intake grill guards because those don't exist yet. So as long as they make them, you can tell me what you want and you will get it if you win. So again, $10 is an entry, $50 or more is double entries. And yeah, Charles, same thing. They are available if you do end up winning those. So yeah, let's get some entries going in on that stuff, guys. Like I said, a set will be given away tonight as well as the next 2 weeks. So what else we got here? Oh, there is Aaron. Aaron is in here. So we were just talking about you, Aaron. Thanks for coming out to the show. All right, so we got our first entry from John. Let's see. John Perkins. Hey, John, you were really outfitting that Stingray. I'm assuming you're still putting these on the Stingray, but maybe I'm wrong. I know you are looking for a Grand Sport too. So John, you are in for 10 entries, and Joe. Yep. All right, that's what I thought. Joey, I got you in for 20 entries, and Charles coming in. Justin ZR1 fun. Charles, this is why we love you, man. So he's in for 20, 40, 60 entries. Charles in for 60. And who did we just get here? Larry Lewis. He's in for 1. And Jay Brazelton in for 20. Sweet. For 20. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries pretty much right off the bat there, guys. But like I said, this thing is not anywhere near wrapped up, so yeah. James says, hey HPO, when will the ZR1X grill guards come in? They should be available currently. So I know I talked to Scott over at Scrape Armor. There was a little bit of a hang up with the Z06 grill guards because it is the same front bumper, but the center grill guard needed some adjustment, and from what I understand, that adjustment has been made. So they're ready to go now. Now it's just the fronts, the side grill guards for the side intakes. Those are not done for the ZR1 or the ZR1X yet. I haven't heard anything about ETA on those. 10 Seconds Z06 says he had so much fun yesterday that he forgot to take any pictures. I'll tell you what, man, I got home and realized that not only did I forget to take pictures, I forgot to video an entire thing that I went down there to video. So I got the car show, but I wanted to do a bunch of other things, and I ended up taking one photo. So it was the same kind of thing between having a good time and just talking car stuff, being around car people. It's like you forget everything else. Travis on iPhone says, well, could have just bought them. Actually, no. Even Charles donating $300, these Scrape Armor grill guards are $700 plus shipping plus tax. So you're still not there. Professor Corvette says, does Criswell have a ZR1X list yet? No. So they had a list for a ZR1. I don't know about ZR1X, but both of them are basically, from what I understand, they're full. So they're not going to just keep putting people on a list that they know they're never going to get that amount of cars for, which is, again, very morally correct. And I appreciate that about Criswell. So. I have not seen those, Ricky. But if I had to guess, I know they install on the outside. So I'm going to say they're probably okay, but they're not as quality as scrape armor. Oh, Jay Brazelton. He's not going down without a fight. I got you, Jay. He's in for another 20. So we got Charles leading the pack at 60, Jay behind him with 40. And like I said, guys, these guys have a lot of entries, and this has happened before, where somebody has a lot of entries and they're not necessarily the winner. So don't, just because they got a lot of entries does not mean you don't stand a chance. Yeah, Charles is like, Jay. Moonrock, yeah, exactly. Let's see. Forgot sunscreen too. Yep. You can tell. It was pretty hot there yesterday, believe it or not. And it was supposed to originally rain, and then it didn't rain at all. It was a beautiful day. All right, so we got no more entries. That's all we got for now. I'll keep an eye on the phone, though, guys. Keep the entries coming. It's going to be really awesome to win something like the Scrape Armor Grill Guards for far less than what they cost normally. So we are going to talk about the C9 in a little bit, but let's look at the build tool a little bit closer while we're here. If you guys are interested in a Grand Sport, this is available now, but there is no pricing. So I'm going to go through this and build this as if it was my car. I think for argument's sake, I'm going to pick pitch gray metallic here, even though it looks nothing like what it does in person, just for giggles. If you guys can see here, the electrochromic roof, this is for you, Professor Corvette, it is showing available again. Now, obviously, we don't have a price for it, but it is showing that it's on there. So, yeah, so John Perkins, this is something that I've touched on a couple different times. John Perkins says that he has the RGS grill guards, the radiator grill store, I think it is, on the car now, but scrape armor is much nicer. And that's 100% accurate. I've seen these in person. Radiator grill store will get the job done, I guess, to some degree, but they're definitely not as clean. It's the scrape armor grill guards are the only ones that are covered under your warranty with Chevrolet on a Corvette. So don't get it twisted that you can just stick whatever in there and you're safe and you're good to go. There has been other grill guards that when you install them, they slowly wear down the front of the radiator on the very corners and can potentially poke a hole in those radiators. And if they do, it will not be covered under warranty, because if it's not scrape armor part, it does not fulfill GM's warranty. So keep that in mind. The scrape armor is the more expensive option, but they're also better built and more geared towards what GM wants out of these things. Dan, I did get your entry. Dan, you got you're in for 10 entries, because that translates to about $50. So you're good. I appreciate it. Yeah, another weird thing, Grand Sport, but no GSX for 27. The Grand Sport X is coming for 2027, but it's coming later in the year. We're going to be talking about that as well. Roof is 100% error. Would not surprise me in the slightest. We're gonna count how many errors we see here at the end of the day. The illuminated emblem is something that they talked about bringing back. So I do believe, I did see that on the build tool here, and I do believe that actually is coming back this time. So again, guys, smash the thumbs up button. Looks like we're at 59. Let's rock these thumbs ups, guys. I'd really like to get to 100 within the next couple minutes. We got 150 people in here watching. Keep smashing the thumbs up. We're going to continue to talk about the build tool and some other news here in a second. 24 Seawolf 06 says, yes, I currently have RGS on the side intake and they're not great. That's, again, it is what it is. It's better than nothing, I guess, but if you want the best, you want scrape armor. It's pretty much that simple. So again, guys, smash the thumbs ups. I really would like to hit 100. We need 27 more within the next couple minutes here to hit 100 by 8 o'clock. Yeah, Aaron said he built a couple Grand Sports last week and it kept glitching on him. Well, we'll see what happens here. Guys, keep smashing the thumbs up. Let's look more at this build tool. So Ricky says the electrochromic roof is probably a glitch. I would agree with that. But for giggles, I would just leave the roof, I'll call it roof color for now. I would go with gloss black wheels. That was an interesting switch there they did there. They show the roof whenever I click the wheels, so that's fun. Now we do have the option for the E-Ray style wheel. There they did it again. How great is that? I want to see the wheels and they're like, hey, check out this roof. Anyway, we got the E-Ray style wheels now on the Grand Sport and Grand Sport X, of course, and even the carbon fiber wheel that they chose, or that you can only get that with the Z52 Sport package or the Z52 Track Performance package. That's interesting. So you can't get the carbon fiber wheels unless you pick one of those two. Good to know. So let's just stick with the gloss black wheels that I chose initially. So that's pretty much it there. Oh, so they offer a dark gray metallic painted brake caliper now. That's nice. So that would probably go nicely with the pitch gray metallic. But you also need the performance package. Okay, cool. So we need to have a track performance package for a caliper color. Gotta love it. Yeah, guys, please smash that thumbs up button for me. Let's get to 100. We got 140 people watching. We got 23 more to go. Smash that thumbs up for me. For giggles, let's go ahead and choose the Z52 track performance package because that's the only way I would consider a Grand Sport at this point. I'm curious to see. See, that says dark gray metallic painted brake caliper, and that looks like the exact same gray that we've had for a while now. And it's more of a silver. So I don't think that's a new color, even though it's worded like it is. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that would match pitch gray metallic. That would be kind of cool. So I just checked the box basically for the track performance package, which of course gives me carbon ceramic rotors, stiffer suspension, and the aero kit from the Z06/Z07 car. With pitch gray, though, for giggles here, we're going to go with orange calipers. I think that looks really nice with that darker gray. We got some center caps options. Nothing too crazy there. The same stripes we've had for a while, it looks like. Okay, so going on to the interior. I don't think there's anything new in here either. But for this build, I would do habanero interior. I think that goes well with the orange calipers and that darker gray. Yeah, these are all... Yeah, we do have that Santorini dipped. I guess we'll check that out for you guys. Anybody out there who really likes that? Can't say I love that color, but if anybody out there wants to go real bold, Santorini dipped is going to be it. For now, I'm going to stick with habanero for this particular build. I like the way that looks. Now again, if you're looking at this image and you're wondering, and actually, I think this was Ricky that brought this up to me initially. The steering wheel, even on the 3LT Grand Sport, you are not going to get a carbon fiber top and bottom steering wheel like you do with the Z06 or even the E-Ray. So no carbon fiber on the steering wheel, even in a 3LT setup with the Grand Sport. So unless it's a Z car, which I know the E-Ray doesn't fit that bill, but GM thought that maybe it did for a second. I don't know. Either way, no carbon fiber on the steering wheel. So that's what we get for the interior here. So let's scroll down. If you could still do the asymmetric seats where you can have competition driver, GT2 passenger. Let's just go with competition because that's what I like, and it completely erases all of the color. That's fun. So let's try to reselect that and see what it does. There we go. Okay. So I do like the competition seats, the way that it handles the color better. It lessens just how explosive it is. So I would do the competition setup there with the habanero because it lessens just how much orange you're getting. In this situation, I would not do an orange seatbelt. I think that it starts to be a little bit too much. So I would just go back with a regular black seatbelt, which of course deletes the whole thing again. Yes. Thank you so much for putting this out so early, GM. This is fun. This is like a game. So, all right. So we'll go back with that, and then it just selects the seatbelt again. So we're just going to leave it for now. I'm not a suede or microfiber guy on the steering wheel, so we'll skip that option. So into the packages here, we did already choose the Z52 track package, which, like I said, gives the big wing and stuff from the Z07 package. This is where you could select the Grand Sport Launch Edition, which is going to give you that Santorini blue dipped interior with torch red accents. And it's going to be like kind of a launch, initial edition. That's what it should be called. Very first edition. Either way, that's definitely not for me. That's way too much blue. So here we go with the coupe engine appearance package. If you guys can see this, it's interesting because it looks like it has a silver engine cover. And of course, this is really just to highlight the engine lighting and the build plaque that you get back there. But you can clearly see that engine cover is the engine cover from the 6.2 liter, not for the new 6.7. You can select right here the screen grille, your scrape armor grille protection to come with the car and be installed at your dealership. Of course, your typical all-weather floor mats, your heritage graphics. You guys, I know how much you guys like those. Let's throw those on there. I would not, even if I was ordering a Grand Sport, those would not be on my car. We got your typical black lug nuts, chrome lug nuts, all the heritage stripes back here, or hash marks, whatever they want to call them. Again, I would not go that route. You got the Jake Hood graphics. A lot of this stuff we've already seen. But this is where it's interesting. Is you can put that 3-post new spoiler from the E-Ray at one point. You could put that on the Grand Sport. I'm assuming if I check that, it's going to remove the Z07 or the Z52 track package if I check that box, so I'm not going to. But it is an option if you didn't have that Z07 aero kit. Carbon flash, painted carbon fiber ground effects, of course. That is the only way the Z07 kit comes on this car, from what I understand. It is only carbon flash. I don't think it comes with an available option for carbon fiber. Maybe it does, actually, because right beside it, I thought that it didn't. I don't know now if that's a mistake or not. Does anybody know that for sure? I am almost certain that the Grand Sport only came with carbon flash aero kit. Does anybody know? KP asked, the competition seats, are they good for long duration sitting? Yes. So I actually drove my car from Pennsylvania to the Florida Keys and back, my Stingray that I had, and it had competition seats, and I was perfectly fine with it. Guys, we got 150 people in here watching, 90 thumbs ups. Let's keep rocking with those thumbs ups. It doesn't look like we've gotten... Nope, we did get another entry for the scrape armor grill guards too. So let me make sure that we have all these caught up before we continue with the build tool here. Joey's in for another 20 entries, so he's at 40 as well now. Kevin Reynolds is in for 20 entries. And Paul is in for 20 entries. And that's it. So, okay. I think we're all caught up with entries here, guys. Like I said, keep smashing the thumbs ups. Keep entering in. Someone's winning tonight. So, yeah. Anybody have an answer for me? GS offer visible carbon fiber if that's a question. There is no ZTK option. No, it's a Z52 track package, which is basically the Z07 package. I'm a fan of the competition seats. I will have that if in a ZR1. I would go back to those. But honestly, the GT2 seats are not bad either. I don't like the way the GT2 seats look with a bunch of color on them, whereas the competition seats break the color up a little cleaner, in my opinion. It's more of a color thing for me at that point. But if you're going with just a black interior anyway, the GT2s are maybe a hair more comfortable for long drives. But I really don't have any issues with the competition seats either. Yeah, so Hot Rod Todd said 9-hour drive, his comp seats were comfy for him. So I agree with that. So I'm not. That's a good point. But the problem is with that Hot Rod Todd is like this builder is so messed up and glitchy. I don't know that it would necessarily accurately show that. I swear that I heard that this was only available in Carbon Flash. Yeah, that looks like carbon fiber. So assuming the tool can be trusted, which is a hard assumption at this point, maybe it is available in exposed. I thought it was only carbon flash, but I could be wrong about that, of course. An option here, this is going to uncheck my track package most likely, but it says extended front splitter ground effects. That's going to give you that, like it's an in-between the Z07 style and the stock, just bumper finish. It's like half the length of the Z07 one, which is just a weird thing to do, but either way, that is an option on there as well. And actually, that did not make me take the Z52 kit off, so let's see if that shows anything on there. It took the dive planes off. Yeah, this tool is definitely messed up. It took the dive planes off, put a smaller splitter on, but left the wing on. There's no way that it's going to let you do that. So let's uncheck that and see if it brings it back. Yeah, now the dive planes are back. There's no way. There's no way that it's going to do that. So yeah, the dive planes are there now. You can't have that extended splitter with the Z07 kit. I would imagine. Yeah, double front lifts should make it 3 times the normal width. I don't know. Let's see. So what else do we got here? Options. There was some other things that were kind of funny here. Oh yeah, it's the engine covers. Once we get down to those. So another thing is they're offered the front radiator grille screens from Scrape Armor, and you can clearly see pictured here they're offering a center one. Meanwhile, the Grand Sport doesn't even have an open center radiator area, so there's literally no reason for that. Where is the engine? Oh, here we go. So the 6.7 liter engine cover in blue, you can see that is the 6.7 liter normal engine cover. But the red in red, sterling silver, that's just the normal 6.2 liter engine cover. They're not showing the new 6.7 engine cover in those colors. Under the engine lighting, it's also a 6.2 liter engine cover, not the 6.7. Here with the engine specification plaque, genuine Corvette accessory. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on the video here, but it's blue and it says on the top E-Ray. Like they don't have these pictures updated. One other interesting tip or tidbit here, I should say. Grand Sport with the quad center exit exhaust comes standard now with black tips. Now you have to pay for the chrome tips. I think it's funny because it was the other way around up until this year. It came with chrome, you had to pay for black. Now they flip-flopped it, and it's the same with the emblems. So they come, or no, they didn't. That's not. I don't think they did that yet. Let me check and see if they did. Somebody had mentioned that to me. I don't know. No, or yeah, they are outlined in black. So now you have to pay for the chrome badges, and I think that was actually always the way. Now that I'm thinking about it, but the exhaust tips were not. So black emblems, black exhaust tips, you got to pay for the chrome stuff, whereas that used to be standard. So GM's just like flip-flopping this stuff all around. So there's a lot of glitches, a lot of errors. A lot of the pictures that are shown here are also either Stingrays or Z06s. None of these are really Grand Sports from what I can tell, or very few of them are at least. Yeah, so right here's the chrome exterior badge package you'd have to check. And then there's also I saw the illuminated badge in here somewhere. It is on here. Yep, there it is. So illuminated cross flags front emblem. Now, assuming that actually stays as an option this time because they took that down pretty quickly after initially bringing it out. So anyway, let's take a look at this car. Of course, there's no matching vehicles found, but this is ultimately what your Grand Sport would look like in pitch gray metallic with black wheels and the Z52 track package. Looks very Z06-esque. I like the orange on the pitch gray, even though that's not really what pitch gray would look like. And yeah, I don't know. I don't dig that center closed off thing. I think I feel like I'd be happier with that being wide open, but I know that's probably an aero concern. But anyway, that's the build tool. There are no prices yet. If I had to guess, we will get some pricing. This will probably be updated pretty soon, I would hope. I mean, at this point, it sounds like we're very close to it. I didn't keep tally of that, but there's at least 5 to 10 of them there if I had to guess. Yeah, AARPM. I saw that it was actually I think it's 2,500 if I remember correctly. It's not cheap to option that center exit exhaust. Now I've had some people ask me about that because I heard the car at Carlisle, and I heard both of them, the center exit and the side exit, and the center exit exhaust does sound better. So you're paying that $2,500 not just for the look, but in my opinion, it also sounds better. Let's see. We don't have any more entries for the scrape armor, guys. So if you want to get in there now. We will be giving those away tonight. Hey, look at that. Professor Corvette says there are 9 configurator mistakes. I said 5 to 10. Pretty good. Pretty close. Bill says, why count the mistakes? You're not going to get them anyway. GM to the rescue. All right. So one other thing I wanted to show you real quickly is over at the Corvette Blogger. There was a website, GM Authority, I think it is, that actually filmed the LS6 in the wild, so to speak, with a center exit exhaust. I'm going to play a little bit of this. I don't want to play too much because I think it could possibly be a copyright thing. So if you guys haven't heard this engine yet, you're about to hear it now. So give this a listen. Let me know what you think.
Man, what a delicious,
I'll be honest, I guess I'll say it first. When I first heard that, it sounds exactly like the 6.2. I don't know. Even in person at the bash, the center exit exhaust sounded a little bit different than the side exit exhaust, but for the most part, it sounded like a 6.2. There's not much of a difference in the sound here. So, yeah. Where are we at? All right, we're at 103. We got 170 people watching, guys, so let's keep smashing the thumbs ups. Again, if you're just tuning in, the giveaway for tonight is a scrape armor radiator grill set for a C8 Corvette. Whichever Corvette you have, as long as they make that grill set for it, that's what you would win tonight. And you can win the same thing next Monday night and the next Monday night. So, yeah. Yeah, see, Dan, that's the exact same kind of response I have to this, where people use odd words to describe things. Because first off, that sounds exactly like the 6.2 out of a Stingray or an E-Ray. Number one, I'm not blown away by the sound, but number two, I certainly wouldn't classify it delicious. I mean, just very strange. Yeah, 13 to 1 compression. It's definitely a very high compression engine, which is cool on one hand, but also scary on another. Because for those of you out there who want to dump your E-Ray and go get a Grand Sport X, I think, depending on what you want to do with the car, if you want to build that car at all, the E-Ray is the much better platform. And yeah, you heard me right. The E-Ray is the better platform to build upon because it's a lower compression engine. You can supercharge, procharge, turbocharge that thing, and it's a monster. If you dump your E-Ray and go get a Grand Sport, number one, they have not unlocked the new Bosch ECU for that car. So, and it could be a while. And even if they do unlock it, a 13-to-1 compression ratio means you're going to have a lot of trouble turboing, supercharging, whatever. Any kind of forced induction on that engine is going to be a little bit of a problem. So, Ricky, if you have an E-Ray and you're going to ever mod it, I'd keep an E-Ray versus getting the Grand Sport X. So, just my opinion. Cool dad stuff. Happy Monday, everyone. Thumbs ups. I appreciate it, guys. Smash the thumbs up. We got 100, almost 170 in here watching. 105 thumbs ups. Let's make those match. All right, so we got another entry for Scrape Armor. We got Sean. Sean, I got you in there for an entry. Let's keep the entries going and the thumbs ups going. Get Sean in there for an entry. Okay, so Reggie, it's either going to happen or it's not. That's the thing I love about this is there is no in between. It's a yes or a no, and if it doesn't, I'm happy, and if it does, you're happy. One way or another, at least one of us is going to be happy. Did that really happen? Thought I just dreamed. Yeah. That's kind of seems like the thought that everybody with an E-Ray has right now is did that car really happen? Did it really exist? Yeah, it's gonna take something special to make that engine be okay with boost. And usually something special means more money. Significantly more money. So right now, the 6.2 liter engine is, it's been in production for so many years now. There's a lot of aftermarket available for it. There's a lot of power to be made with it. If the E-Ray, if the hybrid setup is your thing, the E-Ray is going to be the car that's going to be easier to build. The Grand Sport X is going to take more money and more waiting around because odds are good it's not going to be tuned right off the bat. Or any kind of forced induction, it might be expensive to add. Yeah. Yeah, Bill says it's hard to run forced induction, supercharging turbo on anything over 11.5 to 1. And I mean, we're already over that on the Z06. And then the Grand Sport took it up another. It went from 12. It was either 12 or 12.5 to 1 up to 13 to 1 now. So if you put anything on that, you would run very low boost. Professor Corvette wants me to talk about how hard it was to replace the headers. I'll be honest with you because it's not really a difficult thing so much as depending on how those headers are shaped. So to get the stock headers out, it wasn't that hard. They came out pretty easily. Putting the new headers in on the driver's side, super easy, right in. The passenger side, because of the way the Concept 841 headers are shaped, they're equal length headers. So the first run that should be the shortest has to like loop out and come back. And that loop, we fought that loop for probably an hour just to get it to drop down in. So the distance between the block where the header's going and the wall of the side of the car to get that loop down through was very interesting. You have to find that exact right angle, and when you find it, you realize it will clear with about 1 millimeter of space left. So it's not hard necessarily. You just have to know where that angle's at. Nice. General Lee says he's late to the party, but he just hit 10K on his 23 Z06. Good. They should be driven, man. I love it. Yeah. Joey Cutt says the same thing. Passenger side install is a little bit miserable. And he has Cook's headers. Though Cook's would be a lot easier to install than Concept 841 on the passenger side. Rally roofers. Actually, they do. So the Concept 841s by themselves, if you have no other mods, they will net you 10 to 15 horsepower. Now, in my situation, I've already had all of the mods stacked up. I got 5 horsepower and 7 torque, but with a tune, that's going to compound. So with a tune, it's going to be able to more fully utilize those headers in all the other mods. So yes and no. On paper, if it's the last mod you're going to do, you're not going to gain a whole ton of horsepower. But if you're going to also tune afterwards, you should do everything you can beforehand to improve your horsepower as much as you can. 01, actually, the ZR1 is less constraint. The most recent round of allocations for 2027, less constraints than I've seen in a while. ZTK is, I think they were saying there was 50% availability for the 10-piston calipers, and that was where the bottleneck was. The carbon fiber isn't as much of a bottleneck as the ZTK 10-piston caliper setup. So for at least the first round of allocations for 27, ZR1 actually looks pretty decent as far as constraints are concerned. But now the ZR1X, there wasn't even any allocations offered for the first round of 27 allocations. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I have a tune on the car currently, but I'm still working with Alex to dial it in. For those of you who don't know, if you have a 2025 C8 Z06 or newer, there's some options in the HP tuners that can't be read yet, and that's what I'm waiting on. So some of the things that we need to read to dial in my tune can't be read for 25 and up. So once those are fixed, we can dial in my tune. Let's see. What do we got here? So we got 170 people watching, 112 thumbs ups. Let's keep rocking those thumbs ups, guys. No more entries for the scrape armor grill guards. Go ahead and make sure you're getting entered, guys. We will be giving away a set tonight. The day is never going to come, Todd, where there is not a constraint on something. Trust me when I say it, it's never going to happen. GM has obviously made us quite used to this at this point. It's very unlikely we're ever going to get a month of allocations where they say, hey, everything is available. Go ahead and order. It's not going to happen. So there is always constraints. And even with the ZTK stuff, the constraints are there. It's just there's less than I've seen in the past, and that's a good thing. So we're trending in the right direction at least. Yeah, there was only 8 ZR1Xs produced last week, but what was it, a week or two ago we were talking about it on the live. There was 80 ZR1s and 20 ZR1Xs. It was like, I thought the skies were opening up, you know? I mean, it was beautiful. Yes, they can see 24 and 23, but 25's changed something in the operating system where they can't see certain numbers that they need to see. Let's see. Ouch, Kevin. Kevin, I know you have a good friend that has an E-Ray, don't you? Or maybe you don't. I might be thinking about somebody else. But if you have a good friend that has an E-Ray, they're going to treat you the same way that they treat me. Anybody that I know that has an E-Ray, they don't like me because I say stuff like that where he says dump is a proper word for training in your E-Ray. The consequences of just-in-time inventory. Yeah, very true. Todd says, hopefully you don't finally get a ZTK allocation only to find out it's coupe only. I'd be fine with that. I want a coupe. I would be the other way. I'd be upset if it was only convertible. If for some reason that happened, I'd be very upset about that because I do not want a convertible. AJ, trying to get rid of his ZR1 for the X. If you have the right spec ZR1, talk to me. I'd gladly purchase that ZR1. And so you could go get your X. Yeah, the ZR1Xs are not, they're not exactly flying out of the assembly line. Yeah, I had a feeling that's what you meant, Todd, but there is never going to be a constraint on constraints. At this point, GM's already set the stage. So, I mean, to think that this is going to just magically change one day, it's not going to. This is, I hate to use this term, but this is the new normal. Yeah, General Lee. Exactly. He says, like you said last week, I never heard the word constraint until C8. And he's on his fifth vet. Two C4s, one C5, one C7 carbon, 65, and now a C806. And it was the same with me. I started with C7, but even the whole way through that C7 lineup, I never heard anything about a constraint on those cars. Then the C8 comes out, and the initial orders for the Stingray had constraint items of the what was that called? The 5VM package, the carbon fiber ground effects. They were on constraint right off the bat, and I was like, "What? What's constraint?" I remember somebody saying that. Oh, that's on constraint. What does that mean? Somebody explained that to me, and I was like, "What? How is that on constraint? The car's not even available yet." It is a nice history of cars there. He's obviously a Corvette guy. I've seen a ZR1 go as low as 20K over, but that was for a ZR1 with no high wing package. So there's people on the Facebook groups that claim, one guy claims, or I'm sorry, there was 3 people that claimed that they got the car at MSRP. One guy claimed he got it for 10K under MSRP. No idea if it's true. If I had to guess, that part's probably not true, but I do believe some of these guys are finding these cars at MSRP. There are a handful of dealers out there that are still honest enough to sell a ZR1 at MSRP. So to find that is like finding a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, but it is possible, I guess. The new bump on 27 is about 15 grand on the ZR1 for me. My build goes up about 15 grand, which is really... Solar Joe he's in the house. Even though he's not on the channel right now, he's still here. That's how you know dedication right there. So he's at a car show, but he's still checking in on the Monday nights, guys. You got to love that. He says, thanks for all that attended yesterday. We had a blast. We sure did. It was really a good time. Let's see. What else we got? 161 watching, 117 thumbs up. So let's keep going with the thumbs ups. Guys, we're going to do the giveaway here very soon. So smash the thumbs up and get entered to win the Scrape Armor Grill Guards if you haven't yet. Joler was honored to be there amongst all the fine people of HPO and Criswell. Thanks, Joe. Huh? Lewis said he turned down a ZR1 at MSRP last week. His build went up 18,000 over 26. And did you spec a ZTK car, Lewis? And how did you get that at MSRP? Were you on a list for a while? Yeah. Rally Roofer says he heard there might be another model over the ZR1X testing it right now. We talked about that a couple Monday nights ago, where there is probably something coming, and they may still call it the Zora, even though that was like the internal code name for the ZR1X. We're not sure yet, but there's been a little bit of a rumor spinning up for a car that's going to be higher horsepower, or at least more rare somehow than a ZR1X coming soon. So we'll see. Jay Browsington needs another throttle controller. Maybe Solar will sponsor the channel again here soon, Jay. Yeah, another giveaway. There you go. Gary says a friend got his ZR1 at 15K over. I would start heavily considering it at 10K over. Joey Cut says lunch worked out perfect too. Dogfish Head. Yeah, that place was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Joler needs to be in the NCM Hall of Fame. We're going to get Joe's picture up in there. Yeah, no ZTK. It was on a list. I had a feeling that was the case. Aaron says that his local dealership may sell a ZR1X at MSRP. They're dead set against the market adjustments. Those kind of dealers are also the same dealers that have a list 14 miles long. So you're probably right, but Jim Middleton, we have not talked about that yet. We're about to in a couple seconds here. Yes, V8. So there is some truth to it, but we're going to talk about it in a second because even though there is truth, it's still unlikely to look just like that for a lot of reasons. My picture will be right there with Joe's. Yeah. Maybe me and Joe will share a picture. I don't know. We'll see. Ron Jackson says he was talking to Chevrolet salesman friend. He said the Corvette SUV is coming soon. The Blazer model has been killed. We've been talking about the Corvette SUV as an option coming. Oof, I'd have to look back on my channel, but I know I made a video about that at least 2 years ago, maybe 3 actually now, because I remember I was in my 23 Z06. So yeah, it's very likely going to happen someday, but it's been on the rumor mill for so long. At this point, it's like there's not really much reason to even talk about it because we could be rehashing old information, new information, rumors, whatever. It's like this. It's very likely it's going to happen. No idea when, no idea what generation, whether or not they're going to split off and do Corvette as its own thing, keep it with Chevy. All these things keep popping up as rumors, so we'll see what happens. Ricky, yeah, I agree. I agree. Me and Joe were talking about this the other day. We might actually talk more about this sometime this month. He says that he still thinks the C9 is just going to be a facelift of the C8, but with an improved chassis and a good diet. And to be honest with you, I really think that that's all they could do to get the people who are happy with their current C8 to move to a C9. That exact set of things. That's all they can do because there's no way to take a car that looks that good and spin it to look even better to steal people away from that car. It's almost impossible. It would have to be such a radical change and in the exact right direction to get people to move. More likely, Hot Rod Todd says, the C9 will be a facelift without the diet. And that's probably not just not a diet, but in fact the opposite. It'll probably weigh a little bit more. Every generation of Corvette that I've been a part of has slowly but steadily weighed more and more and more and more. I saw the C9 and it had a carbon tub you walked in, just like the McLaren Senna. That is exactly why, that's one of the reasons why the car that we've seen is never going to make it to production. First off, how many cars that you know of have a top that open up for you to get inside, like the Batmobile? It's extremely, not even close to convenient. I mean, imagine if it's pouring down rain. You got to open up the top of your car. Like, not convenient in the slightest. The only car I can think of off the top of my head is a Koenigsegg that does something like that. And it's like, those cars are not built to daily drive in the slightest. So we'll never have a Corvette that the top opens up on. I mean, at this point, it looks like we're never even going to have a Corvette that has any kind of special opening doors. They're just always going to open out. So yeah, it's unlikely that it would look like that in that aspect. But yeah, we're going to talk about it in a second. So keep smashing the thumbs up button, guys, but we're going to talk about this futuristic Corvette concepts that served as a backdrop in the latest NBC News profile with Mary Barra. So she was on the news channel talking about the future of Chevrolet in general, but a lot of the stuff she was talking about was the future of Corvette. And a lot of these futuristic Corvette concepts were in the background. Now, one of them is the one that I used on the thumbnail of this video. And again, you can kind of see it in the background there with the whole top opened up and tilted forward. As cool as that looks, I'm sure you can understand why that would never make it to market. There's just no way that that would make any sense for anybody to want to drive something like that. And how, I mean, in an accident, in a situation where that car's in an accident, how are you getting out of that freaking thing? Like, it would be like a death trap tank. So there's no way that will ever happen. Now, with that said, I do think there's something to the design of it. I think if you guys go back, and I'll see if I can find this actually. If you guys go back to the C7 Corvette, the C7 Corvette concept car, it was pretty radically different than what we ended up getting. But there's still some of that car that I can see in the C7. So the fenders, the way that they come in and kind of swoop down and then back up for the hood, the front grille even for the Stingray. Obviously, the wheels were similar, but for the most part, that whole front bumper's a different shape. The car is much more sleek and slammed, and just, it didn't look a lot like that, but there were still little bits here and there that you could see. The C7 obviously took inspiration from the concept car. With that said, I think we're kind of doing the same thing with these cars that Mary Barra was showing off in the background. I think the C9 will have a similar look to what we're seeing right there. I think it will look, and if it does, that angle that we're seeing on the corner of this car with the red interior there, from the front fender back, that looks a lot like a 720S. So it has like an extended rear end with a spoiler that kind of is built into the middle between the fenders. That looks like a 720S rear end with a longer rear fender and stuff. So it's definitely something that I bet you we end up getting little design cues from here and there. But unfortunately, it's never going to have a top that opens up like that. Now, there was something here with realistic renders, which I think are interesting, because a lot of the renderings that they had here were SUVs. So again, I don't remember who it was that just mentioned the Corvette SUV thing, but again, this is something that GM is talking about internally, or else we would not be getting, rumors and leaks and stuff saying that these SUVs are coming, because obviously they're talking about them. They're literally designing them. It's going to happen. But anyway, between the SUV coming and the concept Corvettes that we're seeing, odds are good that is the C9 to some degree. They're going to take pieces from this car and make the C9 look similar to that, without, of course, opening up the top to get in. So hopefully that makes sense. Just like with the C7 concept, they took bits from it, but did not make that 100% the car we got. Yeah, Lego, I love that. He says the cockpit will fill with foam in an accident, just like Demolition Man, right? Yeah, that's, you drive over a cliff or something and the car detects you're falling, so it just fills the car with foam. Like, maybe someday. I mean, it's funny how much of that movie seems to have actually come true. Yeah, it would never happen just based on safety regulations. That's what I mean. It's like that concept car that we're looking at, it never gets driven on the street, so it doesn't need to be street legal. Yeah, so the C9 price is what people are scared of. He's thinking 180 to start, top out at around 400. And it's funny because everybody kind of thought that same thing with the C8. Whenever the C8 was first brought out, that the Stingray was going to start. I heard people saying it was going to start at 150. And when they came out and said 60 grand, that really did blow everybody's mind. But I think Chevy has figured out something in the C8 lineup, and that is that people will pay for these things. So when you're building a 1,000, 1,200 horsepower car that has a following like the Corvette does, you can charge a ridiculous amount of money for it, which tells me I'm starting to think Chevy might be shifting gears, so to speak, with the C9 into a more limited production, more rare, pushing harder into the supercar crowd people to limit production numbers so they can officially be considered super/hypercars. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do that. So it would not surprise me at all if the C9 starts at a much higher price point than the C8 did. Like, not just year over year inflation. I'm talking like much higher, because they want to limit their production but still make money. Jay Browston says C9 starts at 89,999. I could see, I mean, the Stingray is already going to be like 75. So if they bring out the C9 and it starts at 89, that's not that big of a jump. That's pretty cool. Ricky says they could call the SUV an SUVette instead of using the Corvette name. The thing is, as much as that would be kind of cool, they're going to want to ride on the Corvette name. And that's why the SUV will be a Corvette. It would not just be an SUVette, even though that'd be pretty cool. A carbon tub and an active aero would be amazing. It would, because a carbon tub by itself could easily get this car, like the C8 Z06 with a carbon tub is a 3,000 pound car with 670 horsepower. That's pretty impressive. That would be an impressive car. And that's where that car should have been. And if it was, it would be much more impressive than it is today. Even though it is still an impressive car, it would be even more impressive. Yeah, Lewis says he agrees. The direction pricing is going, C9 is going to be crazy expensive. I agree. I think that's what GM's working towards with these cars currently. All right, guys, we got 170 people in here watching, 123 thumbs ups. Let's keep hitting those thumbs ups. I'm going to give you guys 3 more minutes to get into the Scrape Armor Grill Guard giveaway. $10 is an entry. $50 or more is double entries. We're giving a set away tonight, so make sure you're getting entered. I am caught up with entries here. Nothing pending. So you got 3 minutes to get in on those entries, and then I'm going to start putting these names into the Wheel of Fortune, we'll call it. And I just came up with that name now, so don't even think about trying to patent that. So 3 more minutes. Yeah, my first vet was a Chevette. Nice. Yeah, they made a lot of C8s. I mean, when they first brought out the C8 Stingray, they talked about how they were going to make 40,000 Stingrays a year, and that was 10,000 more than what they were able to make with the C7. So the C7 was 30,000. It was maxed at 30,000 a year. They wanted to make even more than that with the C8. So I think what they've noticed, though, with the C8 especially, is that people, with everybody who is willing to pay over MSRP for these cars, they realize these people are willing to pay for these cars. Maybe we should make them more expensive and make less cars. I mean, because I mean, they'll still make the same price. C9 is very likely to be a 29 or a 30. Yeah. A 3,000 pound Z06 would be amazing. That would be literally the pinnacle of performance. I mean, it would erase any concern or problem I have with that car by losing what 300-400 pounds out of it. Darren says he has a feeling there could be a greater divide between the C8 and C9 market than there was with the C7 and C8. Wow, really? That would be big, because the C7 and C8 are 2 completely different cars. So if you're saying the C8 and the C9 will be even more different, that's about the only way I can see people selling their C8s to get C9s. Unless, you know, they're selling a C8 Stingray to get a C9 Z06 or something like that. But for the most part, if you have a C8 Z06 to sell that to get a C9 Z06, it has to be radically different, and it's got to be different in the right way. Yeah, snow cone. That's only something recent though. So he says GM shouldn't copy the Porsche model. See how well Porsche is doing as a company. LOL. Up until just recently, they were doing okay, and it was because of the way that Porsche was doing okay that everybody started thinking about making SUVs out of their performance line. So Porsche doing the is it Cayenne? Yeah, the SUV that sold so well for Porsche that Mustang started trying to do it, and Lamborghini did it with the Urus. It does work if you do it correctly, but I don't know what Porsche is doing to be in such a financial problem right now. But I mean, I got to literally witness a $400,000 Turbo S being purchased at the Porsche dealership down in Florida. It's like $400,000 for this car, and they're having financial problems. Like, what's going on? But Professor Corvette says there is a fish called the C9. It is very aerodynamic, and it's propelled from the middle. You know, every time I read these comments from you, Professor, at first I start off reading them in my head and I'm like, huh, I didn't know that. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, it's because that doesn't exist. Yeah, guys, smash the thumbs up. We got 127. We could always use more than that. Tyrone says, do you think the C9 would have better colors than the C8? We need better colors for these cars. I would say yes, other than the fact that that same question was asked from the C7 to the C8, and everybody said yes to that too. So I'm going to go with my gut and say no, probably not. We'll get the same stuff. Porsche almost went bankrupt until they released the SUV, and that makes sense. The C9 is going to set all new standards for race car / track car / drag car / touring car. I hope they make different body styles since they're going to up the cost. That would be ideal. I mean, even to this day, the ZR1 looks way too much like the Z06. The E-Ray looks way too much like the Z06. The Grand Sport looks way too much like the Z06. They should have made all of these cars. They should have all had different bumpers and different aero packages. Instead, you could get the Z52 track package that makes your Grand Sport look even more like a Z06. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And you could buy the center exit exhaust. So now the only way someone could tell that that's not a Z06 is by reading or looking at the badge or the front grille section not being opened up. But if you debadge it and remove that front grille, it's like no one's gonna know that's not a Z06. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know really how much more horsepower we can put in these cars either. I mean, I said that when the ZR1X came out. We're at 1,250 horsepower. Where do we go from here? You know, how do you bring out the next car? Because if you bring out this really impressive car next, it's super, everything about it's impressive, but it's got less than 1,250 horsepower. It's almost going to feel like it's not that impressive. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got active aero, you drop the weight way back, but it's got the ZR1 engine in it, so it's 1,000 horsepower. I mean, I know as a car guy, that car would still probably be faster than the ZR1X with less horsepower because of less weight, but it doesn't read the same on paper. So, like, where do you go once you hit the peak of 1,250? Where do you go from there? Yeah, Bugatti has 1,600, but Bugattis are also they're not built for the same purpose that a Corvette is. It's not really a track car, so to speak, so... They can tell when you start the engine. That's true. That's true. But as it sits there, an E-Ray looks like a Z06. Grand Sport looks like a Z06. A ZR1 looks like a Z06 if you put a wing on a ZR1. So, or a Z06, I mean. So there are too many. These cars look too similar. The only one that I can immediately tell apart is a Stingray and a Z06. Or a Stingray and an E-Ray. Or Stingray and a Grand Sport. Like the wide body and the difference in the front bumper is night and day for me. They should have made that same change from the Z06 to the ZR1 and from the Z06 to the E-Ray. They should have all had different style bumpers and aero kits. They changed the wheels for all of them, which was a good, a step in the right direction, but it needed more. All right, did we get any more entries? No more entries, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the wheel for the Scrape Armor giveaway. Now, this is just for tonight. This will be a giveaway starting again next Monday night. There'll be another set given away. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. If you don't win tonight, you can always win next Monday night. So, again, guys, I got Jay Brazelton and Joey tied at 40 entries and Charles at 60. If you guys want to get anything more than that in there, you got to do it like right now. I have these entries in the wheel about ready to go. So, yeah, Dan, I do too. He says he hates how they all look very similar now to the Z06. I do too. Really? Red C8 Z06 says GM built 2 capture test fleet ZR1s with a new color code, but no name to the color. That'd be cool. It'd be nice to see a pretty cool color, but I will not hold my breath. Yeah, and this is a concern a lot of people are having. Lewis says he thinks that we have lost the people that listened and went to bat for us for what we wanted in Corvettes. A lot of people are thinking that. What would be cool, the C7 Corvette concept car turns out to be the C9 Stingray, and the new concept car at the Quail being the Z06, and then Active Aero in the front under the back. GM, it wouldn't surprise me if GM does do those kind of things where they put the truth right out there in front of us, right under our noses, and we don't pick up on it. ZR1 exclusive. I mean, with how much the ZR1 and ZR1X are costing, you should get exclusive colors. All right, so no more entries. We're going to go ahead and do this wheel thing, guys. So here we go. This is what we got. All right, are we ready? How many times do I shuffle this? Ricky E-Ray, tell me, how many times do I shuffle? Between 1 and 10 times. Professor. I need a number from Ricky. 1 through 10. How many times? Ricky says 6. Okay. Shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Professor 6, I agree. Oh, you're too funny. Oh! All right, so there it is. Paul, you get it. So, Paul, shoot me an email, horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com. You got it. So, once you send me that email, Paul, I will send that information over to Scrape Armor, and they will send the whatever you want out. So, just let me know your shipping address and what car you want this for and what location you want it for. Big congrats to Paul. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. No regrets. I agree. No regrets. I was hoping somebody else was going to make that connection. Big congrats to Paul. Guys, I will be giving away another set next Monday night and another set the following Monday night. So, again, if you liked what you saw, guys, please smash the thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. Go check out NCM Insurance. Put HPO 26 for when they ask you how you heard about us. Save yourself some money on your car insurance. Other than that, guys, we'll see you same time, same place next Monday night. Stay obsessed.